Welcome back, explorers. In Part 1, we traveled through Asia, Oceania, and the Middle East, discovering facts that probably made you question reality at least 3 times. But honestly, we were just warming up. Part 2 is where things get absolutely wild, because we're diving into Africa, the continent with the most incredible wildlife, landscapes, and cultures, then sweeping through Europe, where history meets the unexpected, and finishing in the Americas, where the facts are as diverse as the continents themselves. If you missed Part 1, go watch it after this because your brain needs the full experience. Now, hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and let's continue our adventure around the world. Let's start with the magnificent continent of Africa, home to 54 countries and countless wonders. Egypt has a city that was underwater for over 1,000 years. The ancient city of Heracleion sank into the Mediterranean and was only rediscovered in the year 2000. Divers found perfectly preserved statues, temples, and ships just sitting on the ocean floor. Imagine what else is waiting to be found. Morocco has a university that has been operating continuously since 859 AD. The University of Al-Qarawiyyin is recognized by UNESCO and the Guinness World Records as the oldest existing educational institution in the world. Students have been learning there for over 1,100 years without interruption. Algeria is the largest country in Africa, and it's bigger than you probably imagine. You could fit France, Germany, Spain, Italy, and the United Kingdom inside Algeria and still have room left over. The Sahara Desert covers most of it, creating an ocean of sand larger than many countries combined. Tunisia has a location where they filmed Luke Skywalker's home planet in Star Wars. The sets still exist, and you can actually visit them. Thousands of fans make pilgrimages every year to walk where Luke walked on Tatooine. Libya has a section of the Sahara where the temperature difference between day and night can exceed 50 degrees Celsius. You could be sweating during the day and shivering at night in the exact same spot. Sudan has more pyramids than Egypt. While Egypt has about 130 pyramids, Sudan has over 200. The Nubian pyramids are smaller but more numerous, and most people have never even heard of them. Sudan is basically hiding an ancient civilization in plain sight. South Sudan is the youngest country in the world, only gaining independence in 2011. The entire nation is younger than most smartphones. Students born after independence have never known any other country. Ethiopia operates on a different calendar and is currently 7 to 8 years behind the rest of the world. When the world celebrated the new millennium in 2000, Ethiopians waited until 2007 to have their Millennium Party. Ethiopia also has 13 months, with the 13th month being only 5 or 6 days long. Eritrea has a capital city called Asmara that looks like a perfectly preserved Italian town from the 1930s. The architecture is so well maintained that the entire city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Walking through Asmara is like stepping into a time machine. Djibouti has a lake that is one of the saltiest bodies of water on Earth. Lake Assal is 10 times saltier than the ocean, and you can float in it without even trying. The salt is so concentrated that it crystallizes on everything. Somalia has the longest coastline of any African country, stretching over 3,000 kilometers. That's more beach than most people could explore in a lifetime. Kenya is home to the greatest wildlife migration on Earth. Every year, over 2 million wildebeest, zebras, and gazelles travel in a massive circle between Kenya and Tanzania. The ground literally shakes when they pass. Uganda has one of the most diverse bird populations on Earth. Over 1,000 different bird species live there, which is more than in all of North America combined. Birdwatchers consider Uganda paradise. Tanzania has a lake that turns animals into stone statues. Lake Natron has such high alkaline levels that creatures that die in it become calcified. Photographers have captured haunting images of perfectly preserved birds and bats looking like stone sculptures. Rwanda is one of the cleanest countries in the world. Plastic bags are completely banned, and every last Saturday of the month, the entire country participates in community cleaning. Streets are spotless, and littering is taken extremely seriously. Burundi has a tradition of sacred drumming that was added to UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage. The royal drums were so important that they were considered to have their own courts and servants. Democratic Republic of Congo has a rainforest that produces so much oxygen. It's often called the second lung of the earth after the Amazon. The Congo Basin is also home to bonobos, one of our closest genetic relatives. Republic of Congo has a tree called the grandfather tree that is believed to be over 2,000 years old. Local communities have protected these ancient giants for generations. Gabon has over 80% of its land covered by rainforest, making it one of the most forested countries on Earth. The government has committed to keeping it that way, creating massive national parks. Equatorial Guinea is one of the wealthiest countries in Africa per capita due to oil discoveries. It's also one of the only African countries where Spanish is the official language. Cameroon is called Africa, in miniature, because it has almost every type of African landscape. Beaches, deserts, mountains, rainforests, and savannas all exist within one country. Central African Republic has a rainforest where researchers recently discovered a massive population of previously uncounted gorillas. The forest is so dense that entire gorilla families had gone unnoticed. Chad has an area in the Sahara where scientists found ancient rock paintings showing people swimming and fishing. Thousands of years ago, the desert was actually a lush green region with lakes and rivers. The paintings prove that climate can change dramatically. Niger has a tree called the Tree of Ténéré that was once considered the most isolated tree on Earth. It was the only tree for over 400 kilometers in any direction. Sadly, it was knocked down by a truck in 1973, but a metal sculpture now stands in its place. Nigeria has the largest economy in Africa and produces more films per year than Hollywood. Nollywood, as the Nigerian film industry is called, releases over 2,000 movies annually. It's the second largest film industry in the world by volume. Benin is the birthplace of voodoo, which is actually a recognized religion practiced by millions. It's not what horror movies portray at all. It's a complex spiritual tradition with priests, ceremonies, and deep philosophical teachings. Togo is one of the smallest countries in Africa, but has beautiful palm-lined beaches and vibrant markets. The entire country is about the size of a large national park. Ghana was the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence from colonial rule in 1957. This moment inspired independence movements across the entire continent. Ghana literally started a revolution of freedom. Ivory Coast produces more cocoa than any other country on Earth. Nearly half of the world's chocolate starts in Ivory Coast. Every chocolate bar you've ever eaten probably has a connection to this country. Burkina Faso hosts the largest film festival in Africa called FESPACO. Filmmakers from across the continent gather every 2 years to celebrate African cinema and storytelling. Mali has a mosque made entirely of mud that must be replastered every year. The Great Mosque of Jannah is the largest mud brick building in the world, and the entire community comes together annually to maintain it. It's both architecture and community ritual. Senegal has a lake that turns pink. Lake Retba contains bacteria that produce a red pigment, turning the water a stunning rose color. especially during the dry season. It looks like someone spilled strawberry milk across the landscape. Gambia is shaped like a long snake following a river and is completely surrounded by Senegal except for its coastline. It's one of the most unusually shaped countries in the world. Guinea was the first French African colony to gain independence, voting no in a referendum to remain with France. General de Gaulle was so upset that France withdrew all support overnight, even taking telephone wires with them. Guinea-Bissau has an archipelago where some islands are only accessible by canoe. The Bijagos Islands operate largely on traditional systems where women hold significant power in many communities. Sierra Leone has one of the largest natural harbors in the world. Ships from around the globe have used this harbor for centuries because it's so naturally protected and deep. Liberia was founded by freed American slaves, and its capital Monrovia is named after President James Monroe. The connection between Liberia and America runs deeply through history. Cape Verde has a music genre called morna that has been recognized by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage. The songs often express longing, love, and the sea. The famous singer Cesaria Evora brought morna to the world stage. Mauritania has an enormous ancient structure called the Eye of the Sahara that is visible from space. Scientists still debate how it formed. It looks like a giant bullseye in the desert and is about 50 kilometers across. Western Sahara has one of the lowest population densities in the world. In some areas, there's only one person per square kilometer. You could walk for days and meet absolutely no one. Now, let's sweep through Europe, where ancient history and modern surprises blend together perfectly. Iceland has no mosquitoes. Scientists believe the unique climate and chemical composition of the water prevents them from surviving. Icelanders don't even know what it's like to be bitten while camping. Norway has a tradition of reading crime novels during Easter called Påskekrim. Publishers release special crime books, TV stations broadcast detective shows, and the whole country basically becomes obsessed with murder mysteries for a week. Sweden has a hotel made entirely of ice that is rebuilt every winter. The ice hotel uses ice from a nearby river and features different artistic designs each year. You sleep on ice beds with special thermal sleeping bags. Finland has more saunas than cars. There are approximately 3 million saunas for a population of 5.5 million people. Saunas are so important that even the Parliament building has one. Denmark has a flag that, according to legend, fell from the sky during a battle in 1219. The Dannebrog is considered the oldest continuously used national flag in the world, and Danes absolutely love displaying it at celebrations. Greenland is technically the largest island in the world, and is actually part of Denmark, even though it's located near North America. If it melted completely, global sea levels would rise by about 7 meters. United Kingdom has a law stating that the head of the monarch must appear on all coins, and they must always face the opposite direction of their predecessor. Queen Elizabeth II faced right. King Charles III faces left. Ireland has no snakes. Legend says St. Patrick drove them out, but scientists say snakes never made it there after the last ice age because the land bridge to Britain was already underwater. France has a village that has been officially declared dead but continues to exist. Beaulieu-en-Argonne was destroyed in World War I and never rebuilt, yet it remains on maps and has a ceremonial mayor. Belgium produces over 200,000 tons of chocolate per year. Brussels Airport is actually the world's biggest chocolate seller, with travelers buying over 800 tons of chocolate there annually. Netherlands has more bicycles than people. There are approximately 23 million bikes for 17 million people. Some people own multiple bicycles for different purposes. Cycling is basically a way of life. Luxembourg is the only remaining Grand Duchy in the world. It's tiny, wealthy, and has 3 official languages. Residents often speak all 3 plus English just to get through a normal day. Germany has a word for the weight gained from emotional eating, Kummerspeck, which literally translates to grief bacon. Leave it to Germans to have a specific word for that. Switzerland has enough nuclear bunkers to shelter its entire population. If anything catastrophic happened, every single Swiss citizen has a designated place to hide underground. They take preparedness seriously. Austria was once the center of an empire that ruled over many European nations. Today, Vienna has more people living in social housing than almost any other city in the world, and the housing is famously beautiful and affordable. Czech Republic has more castles per square kilometer than any other country. Over 2,000 castles and castle ruins dot the landscape. You can't drive for long without spotting one on a hilltop. Slovakia has a bizarre tradition where men splash women with water and gently whip them with willow branches on Easter Monday. It sounds strange, but it's meant to wish them health and beauty for the coming year. Women get their revenge on Tuesday. Poland has a radioactive beach that people visit for health reasons. The sand contains slightly elevated levels of natural radiation that some believe has healing properties. Scientists remain skeptical. Hungary has the oldest underground metro system in continental Europe. The Budapest Metro Line 1 has been running since 1896 and still uses beautifully preserved historic stations. Romania has a hotel made entirely of salt, located in an old salt mine. The Salina Turda mine has been converted into a tourist attraction with a Ferris wheel, boats, and the underground hotel. Bulgaria has a festival where men dance in giant furry costumes to scare away evil spirits. The Kukeri festival looks like something from another dimension, with towering hairy figures and massive bells. Greece has one of the longest coastlines in the world because of its thousands of islands. If you stretched out the Greek coastline, it would be longer than the entire coastline of Africa. North Macedonia was originally called just Macedonia, but changed its name in 2019 to resolve a long-standing dispute with Greece. An entire country changed its name through peaceful negotiation. Albania has over 170,000 concrete bunkers scattered across the country. A former leader was so paranoid about invasion that he ordered bunkers built everywhere. Today, they're used as cafes, museums, and storage sheds. Montenegro has a village with the world's narrowest street. The width is just 58 centimeters, meaning 2 people cannot pass each other without turning sideways. Serbia has a skull tower made from the skulls of Serbian rebels. The skull tower was built as a warning, but became a symbol of resistance instead. It still stands today as a monument. Bosnia and Herzegovina has a bridge that young men have been diving off for over 450 years. The Stari. Most bridge jump is a rite of passage that continues to this day. Croatia has a sea organ that plays music using ocean waves. The stone steps in Zadar have built-in pipes that create harmonious sounds as waves push air through them. The sea literally makes music. Slovenia has a town called Bled, with a church on an island in the middle of a lake. Tradition says if a groom carries his bride up the 99 church steps and rings the bell, they will have a happy marriage. Let's finish our journey in the Americas, from the frozen north to the tip of South America. Canada has 10% of all the forests in the entire world. The country is so vast that it spans 6 time zones. When people in Vancouver are having lunch, people in Halifax are having dinner. United States has a town in Alaska where nearly everyone lives in a single building. Whittier is accessible only by tunnel, and about 200 residents share one 14-story structure that contains a school, post office, church, and grocery store. Mexico has the world's smallest volcano. QX is only 13 meters tall and has stairs leading down into the crater. You could climb this volcano in about a minute. Guatemala has a pool of water that is permanently boiling due to volcanic activity. Lake Amatitlan has spots where the water bubbles continuously from geothermal heat below. Belize has a giant underwater sinkhole called the Great Blue Hole that is over 300 meters across and 125 meters deep. Divers come from around the world to explore its mysterious depths. Honduras has a rain of fish. In the town of Lloro, fish reportedly fall from the sky during heavy storms at least once a year. Locals have celebrated the Lluvia de Peces for over a century. Scientists think waterspouts may carry the fish from the ocean. El Salvador is the smallest country in Central America, but has over 20 volcanoes. The entire country is basically sitting on volcanic activity. Coffee grown in volcanic soil, there is considered some of the best in the world. Nicaragua has a volcano where you can go sandboarding down the slopes. Cerro Negro lets adventurous tourists slide down volcanic ash at speeds up to 90 kilometers per hour. Costa Rica produces over 99% of its electricity from renewable sources. The country has gone over 300 consecutive days using only clean energy. It's a global leader in environmental sustainability. Panama has a canal that actually runs from the Atlantic to the Pacific in a north-south direction due to the country's S shape. Many people assume you travel west to go from Atlantic to Pacific, but in Panama you actually travel south. Colombia is the second most biodiverse country in the world. More bird species live in Colombia than in all of North America and Europe combined. Every week, scientists discover new species there. Venezuela has the world's highest waterfall. Angel Falls drops 979 meters, which is over 15 times the height of Niagara Falls. Water actually evaporates into mist before reaching the bottom. Brazil has a street so steep that it has stairs built into it for pedestrians. Ladeira do Faria in Santos is basically a staircase with a road surface. Cars actually drive on stairs. Ecuador is named after the equator, and you can literally stand with one foot in each hemisphere. There's a monument marking the exact line where north meets south. You can watch water drain differently on each side. Peru has rainbow mountains, where mineral deposits create stripes of vivid color across the landscape. Vinicunca Mountain looks like someone painted it with every color in existence. Bolivia has the world's largest salt flat, which becomes a giant mirror when it rains. The Salar de Uyuni is so flat and reflective that it's used to calibrate satellites. Photographs taken there look like people are walking on clouds. Chile is so long and narrow that if you placed it on a map of Europe, it would stretch from Norway to Morocco. The country spans almost every climate zone on Earth, from desert to glacier. Argentina has a glacier that is actually growing while most glaciers worldwide are shrinking. Perito Moreno glacier advances about 2 meters per day, and tourists can witness massive chunks of ice crashing into the lake below. Uruguay was the first country to fully legalize the production, sale, and consumption of recreational cannabis at a national level. The tiny nation became a global pioneer in drug policy reform. Paraguay has a massive hydroelectric dam called Itaipu that provides about 90% of the country's electricity. It also supplies significant power to Brazil. The dam is so powerful it could light up most countries. We've traveled through Africa with its ancient pyramids and pink lakes, through Europe with its ice hotels and sea organs, and through the Americas with its fish rain and rainbow mountains. Part 3 is coming soon, and we'll explore even more incredible corners of our planet. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Hit that like button if your mind has been blown at least once during this video, and drop a comment telling me which fact was your absolute favorite. The world is full of wonders that most people will never know about. But you're different. You're curious. You want to understand this amazing planet we all share. That's exactly what Mind of the World is here for. To feed that curiosity and help you see the world in new ways. This has been Mind of the World. Keep exploring, keep learning, and I'll see you in Part 3 where we continue this incredible journey.